I'm 30 years old, and I'm in a fight for my kids, a fight I never thought I'd have. My ex-wife, Terara, also 30, is trying to bleed me dry for child support, and our kids, a 7-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter, only see her on weekends. That's because she wanted it that way. Now I'm the asshole, according to everyone, even my own damn parents, for wanting to protect my kids. So I'm laying it all out, hoping someone out there gets it. Terara and I got married when we were 22. College sweethearts. For a while, it was good. Blissful, even. But then life kicks in, and the routine sets in, and you just drift apart. After our daughter was born, the fights started non-stop. We couldn't agree on anything. She wanted something different out of life than I did. We just realized we were two different people trying to force a fit that wasn't there anymore. We tried for the kids, but the constant fighting wasn't good for them either. I suggested marriage counseling, last-ditch effort. She flat out refused, said she'd rather just divorce than drag it out. Fair enough, I guess. I own a catering business. She's a high school teacher. I make a hell of a lot more money than her. So, when the divorce went down, she got alimony and child support. A lot of it. Even though she only has the kids 2 days a week, and frankly, she could support them just fine on her own with her teacher's salary. But her lawyer was a shark and got her a sweet deal. I was stuck. It's been 2 years since the divorce. We co-parent, and for the most part, it's been manageable. We don't talk unless it's about the kids. Drop-offs, pick-ups, that's it. Holidays, we try to be civil for the kids' sake, but that's the extent of it. I thought we were on decent terms. The kids seemed happy. Then, about 2 weeks ago, Terara calls me, says she needs to talk in the middle of the week. About child support. She wanted to increase it. Said she wanted to talk to me in person before she made it official, so I wouldn't be surprised. Smart move, because I was definitely surprised. I already give her a generous amount, almost 25% of my monthly salary. She's a working woman, she gets alimony, she gets child support. What the hell else could she need? We met for lunch. She started in about struggling financially. Said she was thinking about quitting her teaching job to join a friend's startup. Wanted to use her marketing degree. Said the startup wasn't profitable yet, so her salary would be low. Didn't want the kids to suffer for her career change. She wanted them provided for and taken care of. I could understand the career change angle, wanting to use her degree, but I couldn't wrap my head around the money part. Even with a low startup salary, she still gets alimony and child support from me. Plus, the kids are only with her for 2 days out of 7. My lawyer told me, with her only having them on weekends, most judges wouldn't even grant her child support. But her lawyer got it done. I cover everything else for the kids, school, clothes, whatever they need. So, technically, I don't even need to pay child support. I was doing it because I knew I made more, and I wanted to help her out. But increasing it? No fucking way. I told her, politely, that I couldn't. It was already more than she needed. If she couldn't make it work, that was on her. I reminded her about the alimony she already gets, which is a significant chunk of change. That's when she got pissed. Called me selfish. Said it was for the kids, and I needed to think about them before making a decision like this. We argued. I kept bringing up the 2 days a week. Unless you're not even willing to take care of them for 2 days, I said, then that's a different story. She got insulted, said I was insinuating she didn't care about our kids. Reminded me she earned less than me. We just went back and forth, getting nowhere. So we tabled it. I went home, annoyed as hell. The first time around, I agreed to the alimony and child support because her lawyer was good, but honestly, it was mostly my parents. They guilt-tripped me. She's the mother of your children, they said. You owe it to her to support her. You make more money. I had no choice but to agree. My parents have always had this weird thing with Terara. They always wanted a daughter. I'm their only kid, a son. When I was a kid, they treated me fine, but when Terara came along, they called her the daughter they never had. It was supposed to be sweet, but it always felt off. When Tara and I got divorced, they were more disappointed than I was. During the divorce, they were on her side, checking on her, not me. Even after, they stayed in touch. I hated it, but they're old, and I'm their only kid. I can't abandon them. I still try to see them once a month, but I don't know how much longer that's going to last. They're being total jerks about this whole thing now. After that lunch with Tara, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. She's getting all this money from me, and she still wants more? It didn't add up. So, I started digging. I knew she was hiding something. She had to be. I started with her social media. Meticulous. Went through her whole profile. It wasn't hard, she keeps it pretty tight, about 150 followers. Mostly friends, family, colleagues. But then I started noticing about 10 random guys. Figured they were dates from the past few months. I'd heard from friends she was dating again. Only one profile really stood out. This guy, he looked young, no older than 22. And his profile screamed trouble. Pictures of him with a joint in his hand, smoke everywhere. Aesthetic, sure, but Tara was never into that kind of shit. Plus, she's got 2 kids. Dating a drug addict? Not a good look. He just looked like trouble. Tattoos everywhere, bragging about drugs. One photo, I swear, he had a rifle. You know the type. That image stuck with me. Tara had no business following this guy, let alone commenting on his photos with those hard-eyed emojis. I decided to dig deeper. I sent his profile to a friend whose uncle is in the force. We'll call this guy Shaw. A couple of days later, my friend tells me his uncle recognized Shaw immediately. 2 years ago, Shaw was brought in for aggravated assault and battery. Attacked a dealer with a fire extinguisher in the stomach. Luckily, the guy wasn't seriously hurt, but someone saw it and called the cops. My friend's uncle remembered it because he was the one who made the arrest. I knew it. This guy was dangerous. And Tara was involved with him. I had a gut feeling, a bad one, and I decided to take a huge risk. I showed the least incriminating picture of Shaw to my kids. Just asked if they'd seen him before. They hesitated. I told them they wouldn't get in trouble for telling the truth. That's all it took. They spilled everything. This was Tara's new boyfriend. They'd known him for 6 months. 6 months. And Tara had explicitly told them not to tell me. Said if they did, she'd make sure they got into really bad trouble. She'd scared them good. She threatened to show up at their school and get them expelled. Said she'd send them to an orphanage if they tattled on her. Told them she'd hate them forever, and even I wouldn't forgive them for being terrible children. They're just kids. They believed her. So they kept it quiet. I was horrified. My ex-wife, teaching our kids to lie, threatening them like that. But it got worse. My son told me that for the first few months, after Tara started seeing Shaw, they were together all the time at her house. Shaw would wait for me to leave after drop-offs, then he'd show up. They were living together. Whenever I came to pick up the kids, he'd go for a walk so I wouldn't see him. My son said Shaw and Tara smoked funny-smelling cigarettes. Most of the time they were at her house. Not like the ones other people smoked. I knew exactly what he was talking about. I was appalled. Doing that around our kids. Then he mentioned other things. Tara and Shaw would fight sometimes. And my son overheard talk about needles and pills left in the bathroom. My heart dropped. This was bad. Thankfully, my son was quick to tell me he never went near her room or the attached bathroom. It hit me like a ton of bricks. She was using the child support and alimony money to support her addicted boyfriend. It was just a theory, but I knew it. There was no other explanation. What my son told me was all I needed. I immediately called my lawyer. Told him I wanted to file for full custody. I laid out everything my son had told me. My lawyer was shocked. Said it was completely out of character for Tara. Irresponsible. Selfish. I didn't even call Tara that day. I was in shock, didn't know what to say. So, she only found out a couple of days later when she was served with the papers. She called me immediately, screaming. Thought I knew about her and Shaw already. Before she could say anything else, I cut her off. Told her I knew everything. Told her I couldn't believe she'd be so reckless with our children. She tried to play dumb for a few minutes, feigned confusion. Then I told her there was no point. Our son had told me. I knew all about Shaw. Then she dropped the act. Started begging me to take it back. Crying. Claimed she was in love with Shaw, trying to get him off drugs. Said she only wanted more child support to send him to rehab, so they could get married after he recovered and live happily ever after. She was a mess, crying, saying she cared about the kids but she also cared about Shaw. Apparently, they met almost a year ago and things got serious fast, which is why he moved in. She knew about his past, he told her right away when they matched online. I didn't care about any of it. None of it made any sense. All I cared about was what she told our kids, and the shit situation she'd put them in. Forcing them to live with her junkie boyfriend, who just got out of jail. And she didn't think it was important to tell me any of this? I told her my mind was made up. Nothing she could say or do would change it. I was so goddamn disappointed in her. Not just her taste in men, but how she'd let me down as a mother. I always assumed she'd be a good mother to our kids. I saw it when we were married. That's why I agreed to the support and alimony without a second thought. But she'd proven me wrong. She wasn't even a good mother anymore. She'd completely lost her damn mind, letting a drug addict near our kids. It wasn't even like he was good with them. My kids told me they were scared of him. He was unstable, freaked out over small things, had meltdowns. So, they stayed away from him. She kept begging me to cancel the proceedings, but it was already done. No going back. For me, nothing is more important than my kids' safety. I learned the hard way that I couldn't trust Terara anymore. Even if she broke up with Shaw, even if she promised the kids would never be near him again, I would never trust her. She let her feelings cloud her judgment. So I told her to prepare herself and her lawyer for what was coming. I wasn't letting her off the hook. I wouldn't stop fighting until I had full custody. After that call, I thought maybe she'd understand where I was coming from. I was upset, and rightfully so. Instead, she went to my parents. Complained to them. Of course, they had to intervene. They always think they know best. They called me a couple of days ago, telling me to stop ignoring Terara's messages, that she's the mother of my children, and I needed to show her some respect. Same old argument. The one they used during my divorce to strong-arm me into the alimony and child support. But not this time. My kids were at stake. I had already talked to my kids. They told me they didn't want to go back to Terara's house anymore. They were scared of Shaw. That was all I needed to hear. My mind was made up. No one was changing it. But my parents kept harping on about how I was being selfish, how I should understand she was in love, and how taking the kids away wasn't the right decision for them in the long run because they need their mother. I don't know how that works when my kids are telling me they don't want to go back to her place on weekends, at least not as long as Shaw is there. They think I'm cold-hearted for filing for full custody just because she fell in love with a junkie. Full disclosure, I couldn't care less who she's in love with or who she lives with. But as soon as she puts that person in contact with my children, it becomes my damn business. And I've decided it's not good for my kids to be around them. Any parent would do the same. But my parents disagree. They think I'm overreacting, making a bigger deal out of this than I should. I don't even know what to think anymore. They got me doubting myself, especially after that last call. I know they're biased, and I know they have some weird issues with Terara, but I still don't want to make a mistake. That's why I'm here. I'm pretty sure I'm doing the right thing, but I need some objective opinions. Am I the asshole for filing for full custody when I found out my ex-wife was dating a junkie? Alright, I want to thank everyone for the comments on my original post. It really helped. My kids and I are doing a lot better now. They're a lot freer, relieved. All their secrets are out, and they don't have to carry that burden anymore. I got a ton of suggestions, and I decided to start therapy for the kids. They've been through a lot of shit, and I need to fix the damage Tara caused. Speaking of Tara, I blocked her. Haven't even bothered to read her last messages. I don't care what garbage she has to say. She can defend herself, cry about me being selfish, whatever. It won't change the facts. She was a terrible mother, and if anything, she was the selfish one. She should have thought about her kids first, not how Shaw would feel if she broke up with him for their sake. The nerve of her, thinking it was fine to lie to me all these months, and now I'm supposed to just accept it and move on. Fat chance. I also blocked my parents. If they love Tara so much, they can rely on her for everything now. If there's trouble down the line, they know who to call. Hint, it won't be me. So, Tara and I were supposed to meet with a mediator a couple of days ago. Today, she just showed up at my house. Luckily, the kids were at school. I didn't let her in. I didn't even want to talk to her, but she kept trying, crying hysterically, begging to see the kids. I told her they were at school, but she refused to believe me. Said she knew I was hiding them, keeping them from her. This went on for a few minutes. I got sick of it. Told her she had 5 minutes to leave, or I was calling the cops. She was already in enough trouble, definitely going to lose custody. She didn't need a police report added to that. I guess that scared her off. She left, but not before screaming that I wouldn't be able to tear her children away from her. She sounded crazy. I didn't have the heart to tell her her own kids had already torn themselves away from her. Her behavior screwed everything up, and now she can't run from it. I'm just thankful she left before the kids came home. That would have been another goddamn scene. I've told my kids they won't be seeing Tara or their grandparents anymore. They seem okay with it. They've opened up a lot in therapy. I think with time, we can fix everything. Fingers crossed. It's been a while, I know. I've been battling it out in court with Tara for custody. Mediation didn't work. We couldn't find common ground, no surprise there. Once it went to court, my lawyer and I worked our asses off to get full custody. If we hadn't, who knows what else they might have done to traumatize the kids. Family courts usually try to keep families together, but thankfully, not in this case. I guess even the judge could see what a goddamn mess Tara was. I gotta give her credit where it's due, Tara messed up big time. Even her lawyer, the one who outsmarted us the first time, couldn't save her this time. Her behavior was erratic, unstable. Even in court, she was a disaster. I almost felt bad for her, seeing her act like that. But I had no sympathy to spare for her as a parent. There was no way I could let her have custody. We fought tooth and nail, but we got full custody. My kids and I are happy now. I have no reason to keep in touch with Tara anymore, so I have no idea what happened to her after that. Doesn't matter. My kids are happy, and so am I.